Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, state senators took a look at two of our high schools. Virginia Builds met with educators about job opportunities for students. And Booker T. Washington welcomed businesses to their school. Later in the show, we'll learn about the upcoming specialty program showcases. All that and more next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Two of our high schools welcomed some special guests from Richmond who are here to gather information about school infrastructure. Here's the story.
Norfolk Public Schools and the City of Norfolk hosted members of the General Assembly as they visited two of the district's high schools and held a subcommittee meeting on school modernization. Senator William Stanley, who established the subcommittee, brought other state senators to Norfolk to show them examples of aging school infrastructure.
What we're trying to propose is a school modernization piece of legislation that is going to dedicate a lot of funding towards fixing all of our schools in the inner cities and our rural areas, those that need it the most, so that we can provide all of these children with a 21st century world-class education. And I think it starts with the foundation of the school and the infrastructure inside of it.
Traditionally, the state has put $0 into school infrastructure and construction. The school construction dollars primarily are local dollars. So it's important for the state to look at the challenges that we face to build new schools, to modernize some of our older schools. So it's good to have them here to take a look at it. Maybe they have some ideas on how to help cities to address the challenges in school construction and modernization.
I think it's wonderful that the General Assembly has made this a priority of studying the issue of school facility needs and modernization of buildings. And so I think we are very fortunate to be able to host this in Norfolk and for them to get the chance to see a couple of our schools, Booker T tonight and Maury tomorrow. Again, not as a, doom and gloom, but these are our realities and these are things we're doing, and yet great teaching and learning goes on every day.
The ultimate goal for these senators is to get approval for a bond proposal that would create billions of dollars to support school infrastructure around the state. During their extensive tours of both Booker T. Washington and Maury High Schools, the senators saw firsthand the condition of the schools and asked many questions about the challenges that staff and students face every day.
It's going great. We're showing them the building. We're showing them the good, the bad, and the indifferent, showing them some of our needs, what our high needs are, just to give them more insight as to what we experience on a daily basis. But to be able to tell our students and to tell our teachers that senators were here to look at aging schools, primarily Booker T. Washington High School is one, is an opportunity that is going to be beneficial to us.
So we are taking a tour now from the local government, taking a tour and say, hey, let's see what's needed in these schools and let's see what we can do all across the whole state. That's what we're trying to do, is say, hey, we have been there, no hearsay, we've been there, seen it ourselves, let's send the money down to those localities that need this money for school.
I think it's very important that we bring the senators, the ones who make the legislation and the policies, here into our buildings to look at the infrastructure that we have here in order to make informed decisions on the legislative priorities that they have, and hopefully they can send some dollars our way to help rebuild our aging infrastructure.
Dozens of educators from around Hampton Roads met in Norfolk to learn about the opportunities available to students and the construction industry, thanks to a new partnership with Virginia Builds. During this first meeting, representatives from Virginia Builds discussed the importance of replenishing the construction workforce with highly qualified employees, and they even had a hands-on activity to show how problem-solving works with construction. Ultimately, this regional group of stakeholders is looking to help create career paths in construction for students, and they chose Norfolk Public Schools as their initial partner.
Well, Norfolk Public Schools has always been a good partner for the Opportunity, Inc. and our Hampton Roads Workforce Development Board. And because they're centrally located, we thought it would be great for the surrounding cities to be able to bring their educators in. this is a great location that we had here. And we're reaching down to the public schools because that's where we can get a hold of these emerging workforce kids at a much earlier age and maybe tap into their aptitude and their interest into maybe looking at careers in our industry.
You know, any time that we're able to collaborate with those who are on the front lines of preparing the next generation for what's to come when they become adults is a wonderful thing. So being able to partner with our school district that are right there in the classrooms every day preparing the next generation to choose their career opportunities is an excellent thing.
It would be appropriate for all students, whether they are planning on going on to college or just going directly into the workforce upon graduating. And there's many opportunities, as I've just learned. I didn't realize that there were so many opportunities, from being a plumber to HVAC, just a number of opportunities. So again, it would be good for all students, not just those who are going into the workforce.
Students at Booker T. Washington were exposed to many types of careers as the school hosted an entrepreneurial fair. Over 40 business owners lined the hallways and engaged with students about what it's like to be the boss and how they achieved that.
Putting this event together is one of the joys of what I do. I think that business owners, they understand that there's a give back portion. There's a responsibility for them to be not only business owners, but community leaders. So this was about reaching out to people that I knew had a heart and that would want to be a part of what we're doing at Booker T.
Along with businesses, local colleges, the city of Norfolk, and members of Black Brand were on hand to educate and inspire the students.
Well, during the academic day, you're going out through all classes, learning different things. So this is giving you opportunities to better yourself and be prepared for the future.
Today has been very educational because I want to minor in business, so I want to make sure that my business get out there with different networks. So I want to be able to help people produce their own website for their own businesses. So me listening to other people telling me, their business experience helps me out when I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do when I graduate from high school.
This fair is just the first part of a bigger program.
So the students that are participating right now are part of the second cohort of our Entrepreneur Mentorship Program here. So the Entrepreneur Fair is one piece of the program. We also offer a 10-week mentorship as well as a student pitch competition. So that's the culmination of the program, is we'll have 5 students that will compete for right around $2,000 in cash prizes.
All across the district, elementary students were out in force celebrating International Walk to School Day in October. Norview Elementary staff met up with students and walked with them to school. While at Terrellton Elementary, students took part in the 3rd annual Walk to School and Into a Career Day. These students were encouraged to dress like a career they're interested in and think about why it's important for them to be safe when walking to school.
Because they're walking to school every day, so we need them to think about being aware of their environment, coming with other students. We never want them walking by themselves, making sure that when they leave home, they're coming straight to school and being responsible.
If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is Rhonda Ingram. She is our Chief Financial and Operations Officer. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you have you on the show today. We have a very important topic to discuss,
yes,
which is the Federal Impact Aid and the Impact Aid Survey. So first of all, tell us, what is Federal Impact Aid?
The Federal Impact Aid is a program for the federal government that they provide funding to school districts who have properties in the district that are federally properties, and those properties are tax exempt. So these districts are losing revenue, so the federal government developed this program to share with providing funding for the districts to educate federally connected students.
Mm-hmm. So when do these forms come out, and when do parents need to have them back returned?
Actually, the forms went out yesterday, Monday, the 15th, and they should be returned to the schools Friday the 19th.
So who is eligible in order for the schools to receive these funds?
Students whose parents are either active military, they could live on the military bases or work on the military bases, and also if they live in federal housing, that they are eligible to be connected to the schools.
So it's vitally important for them to
Very
return
important.
these forms.
Yes.
How much funding is per form?
Approximately $440, $450 per form.
That's a lot.
Yes. It
So
could
that's
add
why
up.
we're having this show.
Yes. We need to identify all of those students who are federally connected.
How many forms have been turned in last year?
Last year, we sent out approximately 31,000 forms, and we received back about 25,600 of them. Of those who were sent back, 6,680 were federally connected. So those are the students we actually got funding for.
How much money do we get approximately each year for federal impact aid?
The 4-year average has been about $2.9 million. You know, we budget $3 million, a little over, because we want to identify more and more kids who will qualify.
Where does this money go when we receive it?
The money goes to general education, which means we can pay for staffing, we can pay for supplies, technology, equipment, anything that supports instruction of the students.
So pretty much anything?
Anything, yes.
Okay, that's good. What kind of impact can those funds have on Norfolk Public Schools?
A tremendous impact. You know, we have been having some challenging years with getting funding for the school district, so as much funds as we can identify that then go right back into the classroom would be helpful for us.
So who has access to this information on those forms when it's turned in?
Just our accounting department staff and the district. We do not share that information with anyone.
Wow. This is important. Kind of stress for us to the parents just how important it is for them to return these forms.
It is very important that we identify all of our federally connected students. Like I said, last year we had 6,680 that identified, but then we also had some forms that did not return. So if you look at the percentage of those forms who were not returned and the percentage of those that returned and were identified, we could potentially identify an additional possibly 700 or 800 more students, and then that times an additional $440 would be significant funding for the district.
So what are some things that parents should be looking out for to know that it's going to be coming or they need to return? I know we normally do a district robocall to parents, but what are some other ways that we're reaching out to the parents?
We also have flyers at the schools. We did a district robocall. We also have in the schools to do calls to their student body, the parents, and also putting on their marquee. So this is Federal Impact Aid Week, as we are calling for ourselves, because our window is this week. But even if we will come back later and do another mailing of forms out. But the initial impact is to drive home and to get those cards turned back in, because we must submit an application in a couple of months.
And question for you, say I'm a parent with 3 or 4 kids. Do I fill out one form or all the children's forms?
Each child must have a form. And we ran into that last year where they fill out one form, but only that child qualified as far as getting money back. So you need to do one for each child.
Okay, that's important to know.
That's very important, yes.
Yeah. So recap for us the details about federal impact aid and when those cards are due.
Okay, the cards are due Friday to come in back to the schools. They're going to turn them into us. And just make sure that you follow the guidelines. Instructions are going out to the principals and to the parents as well. Fill out all of the information. Make sure that the date of those cards are this window of dating the cards, because the actual date is yesterday. And just please complete the cards and send them back in to us. Then we can identify all the students.
Yeah, and remind us too who's eligible.
Who's eligible are the children whose parents or guardians are in active military, those who work on federal properties, those who live on federal properties, and work on them, live on them, and who is in active military, and live in public housing.
Live in public housing too. Yes. Great. Thank you for coming on this show today, and I know parents got the notice, so check your children's backpacks or ask them questions about their federal impact aid cards. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Great. We want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is John Coleman, the Executive Director of Secondary Schools. Welcome again to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you on the show, especially this time of year as we have our upcoming specialty programs that are going to be showcased that's going to be coming up. So tell us a little bit about the specialty showcase that you do every year for us.
Well, traditionally this time of year in October, we provide to our parents and our students the opportunity to learn more about our specialty programs. And our specialty programs with Norfolk Public Schools is really one of those gems when it comes to looking at curriculum and instruction. And so on October 23rd and October 25th, we will have our showcase night for all of NPS in terms of students who are looking for information in regard to each of our programs.
So what programs are being offered?
We have 5 programs at the middle school level, and we have 5 programs at the high school level. So at the high school, we have the Leadership Center for the Sciences and Engineering at Norview High School. We have the Academy of Arts at Booker T. Washington. We have the Academy for Leadership and Military Science at Lake Taylor High School. We have the Granby International Baccalaureate Program. And then at Morey, we have the pre-medical and health specialty program at the high school level. At the middle school level, we also have 5 programs, and those programs are the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood, which is a middle school program that focuses on project-based learning, as well as a middle years IB program. And then we also have the STEM program, which is located at the Southside STEM Academy at Campus Stella. We have the Blair Pre-Medical and Health Specialty Program, and then we have the Academy for International Studies and the Young Scholars Program. Both are located at Rosemont. So we have quite a few different options that are available to NPS students.
And this is some good information, so I'm going to get you to repeat for me real quick. You know, each year we have a showcase designed to highlight those programs at the middle and high school level. You mentioned 2 dates, so can you mention each one again and which one is for each school?
So on October 23rd, which is a Tuesday, that will be the evening that we will be providing information for all 5 of our high school programs.
Okay.
And so that will be located at Norview High School beginning at 6 p.m. And what we'll do is all of the program leaders will provide a short synopsis of their program. But what's even more important is we will have students there who will be able to speak in regard to each of those programs. So we'll be set up in the Commons area at that high school, where parents and students will be able to ask questions and speak and learn and more information about each of those programs. Then on Thursday, October 25th, we repeat the same process, only with the 5 middle school programs. And so this is that original opportunity, that we provide to parents and students to learn.
And this is at Norview High School?
And that both programs will be at Norview High School. Both will begin at 6 p.m.
Why do you think it's important to have those students to stand up and talk about the specialty programs?
Well, adults, we can talk all we want, but when the students get in there, they really make it come to life. They're the ones that experience what takes place in a specialty program, and they really provide that marketing to students so that students understand and can speak to the program in a way that will relate to the students that are basically looking to choose those programs.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2 nights, but why is it important to have a couple of nights? Or you think maybe it could stretch to a week?
Well, in addition to those 2 nights, we try to reach our parents in multiple ways. And so each program will also have its own individual night. And that information has been provided through a letter to our rising 6th graders and our rising 9th graders for next year. It's on the district website and the school's websites as well. So even though we have the showcase night, which covers all of the programs, each individual school that has a program will also offer a night where they can get more information in even greater detail.
Oh, great. So when will the applications be available, and how can they access them? And then when will the application deadline be?
So applications will become live on the night of the showcase. So for high schools on the 23rd, that evening, once the program is over, the application is available. It will be available on the district website, and it will also be available on each individual high school's website. Parents can download the application, and they can complete part of the application online before downloading it as well. The same for the middle schools. It will become live on October 25th. The deadline for all applications, both high school and middle school, is January 31st. And so from October, November, December to the end of January is a pretty good window of opportunity for parents to learn more information about each of the programs, make their informed choice. And that is one, I would say, critical piece that we want to make parents aware of this year, in that parents and students can apply to any or all the programs that they want, but this year on the application we have something new. And that new piece is students will be asked to choose what is their first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth or fifth if they choose to apply to all. If they're only looking to apply to two, they still need to choose what's my first choice or what's my second choice. Because as a division, we are going to make a more concentrated effort on making sure that we are able to place students in the program of their choice.
That's
as long
great.
as they meet those qualifications.
I'm sure parents and students will appreciate that this year, having more of a chance to get into one of the specialty programs.
We hope so, and it kind of falls along with the Board of Education's equity policy in that we want to make sure that the process is equitable for all, and that we're being efficient in the way that students are selected and placed in programs. And we want to do it by the student's choice, as long as they
So
qualify.
how are they selected for these programs?
They go, well, once the application is received, there's different criteria. And so we have a rubric that we follow in terms of how we score an application and the different components that are in it. There are some differences between the programs. So for example, at the high school level, 3 of the programs have an exam that they give. So for example, the Norview High School Academy for the Sciences and Pre-Engineering, there's a math exam that students are invited in to participate and take. So that's part of the criteria. If you go at the middle school level, we've got some lottery schools. So the Academy for International Studies at Rosemont, there's criteria, but there's also a lottery because of the number of students that have applied. At the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood, it is simply a lottery. At the Campostella STEM program, it's simply a lottery. So based on each individual's programs, we will make sure that it's done fairly and equitably, and it will be a committee's decision in terms of how students are finally placed.
Do we hold spots for military-connected students who may be coming into the district?
We hold several spots for military-connected as long as those military-connected students still qualify. They still have to go through the same process. However, we recognize that students that are coming in through military don't always have the same opportunity in terms of the window for applying. And as a result, we still provide that opportunity for consideration when they do arrive.
And that's great that we do that because we're a heavily military concentrated area.
Yes, we
so
are.
tell me, is there anything else parents and students can do to learn more about these specialty programs?
Ask questions, go to the website, get information, come to the showcase night, go to the individual schools program nights that they're interested in. If there's more information, they can absolutely call the school and ask to speak to the program directors, and they would be happy to assist or provide additional information as well. We certainly want to make parents have every opportunity to make an informed choice with their child. We certainly want children entering a program that best fits their interests and their needs. And so those are the primary focus for our programs.
And that's good. So let's recap real quick because this is important information. So list the 2 nights and for which middle and high school and the times, the location, all of that good information.
Okay. So our showcase evenings for high school, it's October 23rd, 6 o'clock, Norview High School. And all 5 high schools will be represented that evening. On October 25th, which is a Thursday, again, Norview High School, 6 p.m. All of our middle school specialty programs will be there to provide information. Deadline for applications is January 31st at the school they are currently attending.
Wonderful. And if they want to know more information, go to www.npsk12.com. Great. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing our specialty showcase programs and that information for parents and students.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Great. And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.